Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and today I'm going to give you my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Before I get into the review, I do plan on doing my top 10 of the year for last year. I don't live in one of those big markets like New York or LA, so it'll take a little bit of time. It might be the end of this month, maybe early February, but my top 10 of the year is coming. But Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the last DCEU film. Everything going forward now will be in the new James Gunn DC universe. I really enjoyed the first Aquaman, so I definitely was looking forward to this one. But before I go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Gonna be honest with you, right off the top, this might be a shorter review. I feel like there's not a ton to talk about with this film, honestly. When I went to see it with one of my friends, we talked about it for like 10 minutes, maybe afterwards. Much different than our conversation when we saw Godzilla -1. But I had fun with this film. It had a simple story. There's no big twists or turns. I saw plenty of things coming from a mile away. There's nothing new or innovative here with the story, but I still think it's relatively successful in the way that it tells its story. Overall, it's just a pretty standard story, pretty standard comic book story. There were a few themes throughout the film that I feel like were handled kind of clumsily. It really feels like they're trying to kind of beat you over the head with the themes or the messages here in this film. I think it's a good message. Like, yes, let's all take care of the earth. I wish they could have done it maybe a little bit more subtle. I guess the lack of subtlety kind of beating you over the head with it, I think that's probably my biggest gripe about the story as a whole. Just like in the first one, Jason Momoa was a huge highlight in this film. You could just tell that he had so much fun filming this movie, and that really makes a difference when you can tell an actor's having a good time. He makes for a very fun and distinct version of Aquaman, and I can really appreciate it. He was always one of my favorite parts of any time he would show up, whether it be in Justice League or post-credit scenes or anything like that. So I will say it's kind of sad we're not going to get to see him play Aquaman again, but I have a strong feeling he's going to be playing a different character in James Gunn's universe. A lot of people are thinking Lobo. I kind of think Lobo, so I think that'd be a lot of fun. I also got to say that Patrick Wilson is always a win. I love Patrick Wilson in anything. He's such a good actor, and I think he was fun in this as well. Just like Jason Momoa, you could tell that he was having a good time filming this, and this seemed like a good set to be around. He does a really great job of kind of playing the straight man to Jason Momoa's kind of more wild and free-spirited character. I do wish, though, that maybe he could have had a few more emotional moments, because I kind of feel like the story really does call for it. Those are really the two biggest standouts of the cast for me. Those two had really, really great chemistry, and I love seeing them on screen together, and they really kind of carried the bulk of this film. Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who plays Manta, did a good job. However, it is kind of a one-note performance, but that's how the character was written. So it's not necessarily that he gave a one-note performance because that's all he was able to do. He gave a one-note performance because that was all that was written for him. But he does that one note really well. I also love seeing Randall Park in this. I almost forgot that he had a little role in the first Aquaman, and so it was kind of like a nice surprise to see him in this. I really like him as an actor, and he did a good job here. I'm just holding out hope that we can get a Marvel X-Files kind of show with him as the lead. I think the action here works for me. They go over the top from time to time, and it works. And I think the fight choreography was really well done. That last fight at the end between Aquaman and Manta was really well done. It was well shot, well choreographed, and it was visually interesting and pleasing to watch. That last fight definitely was entertaining, and that might have been my favorite action sequence of the whole film. And honestly, the CGI here, to me, was mostly good. When you have a movie like this, there's going to be a ton of CGI, a ton of places to go wrong. And especially after The Way of Water did what they did, with all of the water CGI and things like that, I was a little bit nervous to see how I would respond to this, but I didn't really have any major issues, especially with any of the underwater things. There's only a couple moments here in this film where I think the CGI kind of takes me out of it a little bit. There's one moment where some of the character models look and move a little odd, but I'm sure there's some people that probably wouldn't catch it. So there's like one or two moments like that that pulled me out just for a second. As a whole, with how much CGI was in this, I think they did a good job. There also were a few odd editing choices in this film. One thing I would say is I feel like there were times where they kind of let the shot linger a little bit longer than maybe they should have. That was one example of the editing that really just kind of took me out of the movie real quick. Whenever I saw it, there was an action sequence. Aquaman got thrown against something. He hits it and he starts to fall. But then after he hits it and starts to fall, we cut to a new camera angle, but we see him hit again and fall. So I don't know if that was an intentional choice or if it was maybe a little bit of a mistake. One way or the other, I don't think it necessarily looked good, and that kind of like tricked my editor brain into just not being happy with that sequence. But overall, I will say that this film definitely does have its issues, but also there's nothing too high, there's nothing too low about it. It's just a pretty standard action, adventure, superhero comic book film, but I still had a lot of fun. Like Jason Momoa contributed a lot to that. Patrick Wilson contributed a lot to that fun. I think this is a very good kind of turn your brain off popcorn movie. So with that being said, I think I got to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But that's it. That's my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Have you seen this film? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, comment down below, what was your favorite DCEU film? Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on social media, pretty much anywhere, @CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.